Welcome back to our own digital learning station, icseprudence coaching. Hello, students. Today we are going to learn about this exciting story, Nicobobinus Chapter 2 by Terry Jones. Here we'll get the line by line explanation along with the in detail analysis of the story, which will make you completely exam ready. Those who have not yet learned Chapter 1, you can check our playlist for New Oxford Modern English. There will get Class 6 all chapters for line by line explanation and the solution for this exercise. Let's learn the recap of chapter 1 so that we can understand chapter 2 very well. So, what is happening in chapter 1? The story begins in a city of Venice where we can have a little boy and the central figure of the story, Nicobobinus, and his best friend Rosie. Rosie came prepared in the early morning to go on a trip to the land of dragons. As Nicobobinus had the work of cleaning or the weeding in front of his garden, he was doubting or he remained doubtful whether he would accompany Rosie or not on this journey. But finally, this Nicobobinus was ready to move on to this journey with Rosie. They were now running across this bridge, as you can see on the picture. But in the midway, this Rosie thought that they must need some food. So, as they were coming through the city, they found a huge apple tree by the side of this garden. So, by the side of this garden wall, Rosie told Nicobobinus to get him on her shoulder and take away some apples so that they can eat during their journey to the land of dragons. But here, Nicobobinus lost his balance and had fallen inside this magnificent garden. Suddenly, a man came behind him and held him with two hands. So, being very little and weak, Nicobobinus couldn't get away. But instead of running in front, Nicobobinus moved backward and tripped over this strong man's leg. Consequently, in pain, the man released Nicobobinus, and afterwards he had fallen down on a pile of dry leaves. After that, Rosie, when she understands something unusual is happening, she called Nicobobinus and said whether he is okay or not. That means asked about his well-beings. But here she didn't get any response from Nicobobinus. Rather, the man was growling and saying that he will teach a lesson to both of these who had come there to steal apples from his garden. Now, at this point, chapter 1 ends and chapter 2 begins. Now, we are ready to learn this chapter 2. Now, we can see the chapter 2 in front of us. Let's learn it. Nicobobinus ran as fast as he could across the lawn, down the path, round a hedge, and into the little shed, and bolted the door. So, what's happening here? Nicobobinus was running as fast as he could. Why? Because that fat, strong man was chasing him. Here, the word hedge, Hedge, it means a row of bushes or shrubs, which is often used to mark the edge of a garden or a property. So, suppose this is your garden, and by the side of this, some shrubs are grown to cover the boundary or to make the boundary of this garden. Now, he was just running around this hedge or this boundary of that garden, and he was trying to escape from that place. Then what happened? Then he found a door was there. While he was running, he found a door, and the door was locked. He opened the door, had gone inside and bolted the door. That means closed the door and locked it temporarily. Now, as the man was running or chasing behind him, he will come here and stop here, would not be able to just chase or get away Nicobobinus very easily, and this is happening here. Open up, cried the man. The man became angry and shouted at him, Open the gate soon. And the hinges creaked and the door shook as he banged it with his fists. So, as he was moving the gate with full strength or shaking the door with his full strength, then the hinges of the door was creaking. Hinges means suppose this one is the door and the door is fixed with that permanent part of that lock with the hinges which help the door to fix. So the hinges were creaking because there was rust on that hinges of that door. So consequently, when the entire door was shaken by this fat man, the door was shaken and the hinges were creaking and producing the creaking noise. Now, being angry, the man had hit the door with his fist and it produced a noise. After that, that door's not going to last long, thought Nicobobinus to himself. Now, Nicobobinus understood it very well that this rusty door and these rusty hinges would not give him security anyway, because at any moment the door may be broken by this strong man. So he is not at all secure behind this door. He dragged a large old stone roller against the door or against it. Suppose this one is a door, the man is standing this side and Nicobobinus is here. So he found that the door or the hinges are not very strong. So consequently, he bought a very big roller. Roller, you know, this type of things. This is very good. So he just pushed the roller to this side so that he can keep it here. So he kept the roller now at this place. So consequently, what will happen? The heavy load of this roller will not allow the door to move and the man will not be able to cross it anyway. Now, what's happening after that? After that, the man is becoming more angry and he is saying, Open this door at once. Do you hear? The man was shouting. The man was furious and consequently he was saying, Open the door as fast as possible. But Nicobobinus didn't hear anything at all. He was too amazed by what he had found. Now Nicobobinus was not paying any attention to the man's anger or his shouting, but he got very amazed, that means surprised what he had found. Now, how he had discovered it? See, as I told you, there was a heavy roller. This was the heavy roller. Now, this roller was kept on a hidden door, a secret door. As he had moved it to the door, now this place is empty where the door that roller was kept. Now this place had become empty and now he had discovered a hidden door which is going inside the ground. The path is going inside the ground. So what he is doing? Now he will pull up this door and will try to enter inside because he got very much excited because this is hidden door. Might be there, it might be that there might may any kind of treasure. So he thought to go inside. Now see what he is doing here. Now, you will have to come out eventually, the man was saying, and the longer you leave it, the worse it will be for you. Now, the man is saying that you have only one way to escape. Finally, if you want to get away or get out of the garden, you have to follow only this path. So, the more late you will make me here, or the more I will be waiting here for you, the condition of you will be worse. That means the more I will wait here, the more punishment I will give it to you. After that, what's happening? Let's understand. But he could have saved his breath. But here the man who was running, he couldn't save his breath, and Nicobobinus also was in busy situation. Nicobobinus was on his knees examining what he had revealed, and he moved the roller. When he moved the roller. So here there was a hidden door, as I told you. So by sitting on the side of this hidden door, Nicobobinus was watching it very carefully, and he was amazed at his discovery. So he did not pay any heed to the man's shouting. Now he brushed off the dust and undid the catch and then lifted it up. So this door, hidden door, was filled up some dust. So he cleaned all the dust. Okay, he cleaned all the dust. After cleaning the dust, what he is doing? This door was locked here. So he lifted that bolt and pulled the door up. Okay, he pulled the door up and he was trying to enter inside that hidden path. Now let's understand what's happening after that. We'll read the next page now. We can see the next page now on the screen. Right, I am going to break this door down, said the man. So, by standing at the gate, which was locked by Nicobobinus, the man was shouting and saying that he is going to break down the door very soon. And then, because he knew he would have to repair the door himself, he added, do you hear? Now, the man knew that if he is breaking the door where he was locked by Nicobobinus, then he himself had to repair it, which will cost much to him. So consequently, he again shouted for Nicobobinus. But what Nicobobinus was doing? Nicobobinus was entering inside that hidden place or the secret place through these stairs. The stairs, which thing has made the stairs? The stairs was made of stone. We'll read eventually and discover it. Let's learn it. But Nicobobinus didn't hear. Nicobobinus had disappeared through the trap door he had discovered and was running down stone steps that were slippery with slime and that smelled of graveyard and that went down and down deeper into the ground, that was going deeper into the ground and until it became pitch black. Pitch black means completely dark. So Nicobobinus didn't pay any heed because he couldn't hear. He had already entered inside that hidden chamber or the hidden room through this trap door, through this small door. Now what he is doing? He is going down and down, and these stone steps were made of these steps are made of stones and very much slippery, and some smell of graveyard, as you know, very bad quality smell was coming there. So it was creating a very haunted place, and as the stairs were going down and down, there was pitch black. That means complete darkness, and he could see. Now Nicobobinus is going down and can experience that pitch blackness. Rosie, said Nicobobinus to himself, this is all your fault. Now, Nicobobinus started blaming to his best friend Rosie because for her only he had fallen down into this garden and now he is experiencing all these spooky things or haunted things. He heard his heart pounding and his steps echoing along the dank rock of the narrow passageway until all at once there was nothing, and before he realized he was falling in the blackness. He was. So here there is a pause. Now, before understanding this passage, we'll go through the meaning of the difficult terms as this is used here. As I told you, here his heart was pounding. That means this is the symbol of the fear that he was experiencing. Actually, his heart was running very fast. So consequently, he was becoming scared. This dank rock means this dank rock is actually it is used here to say that the situation of that place or the atmosphere was very much scary, and this dank rock means a cold and damp, possibly unpleasant environment like a cave or some underground tunnel. Okay, this narrow passageway, as you can see here, narrow passageway actually emphasizing the confinement and perhaps the sense of being trapped or funneled inside that hidden place. Now, after that, you can see this darkness. So here the darkness is also been very much emphasized. What's happening as a whole, we can say that in this passage, actually, the writer describes the character, that means Nicobobinus, walking through a dark and confined space, feeling very much apprehensive when suddenly the floor gives way and he plunges into a pitch black abyss before he can even comprehend or understand what's happening. Actually, it's a moment of complete shock and terror. Now, let's read the next passage and understand it. Several thoughts flashed through his mind at the same time. So, as he was lost in pitch black, in complete or utter darkness, different types of thinking were arising in his mind. What kind of? The first one was along the lines of bother, only a bit ruder. Suppose anything bad is going to happen with him. The first one was actually a bit ruder. That means a very scary thing that might happen with him. Now we'll read about the next part. The second was rather unkind thought about his best friend. Who was his best friend? Rosie. So second was very much unkind or not very much pleasing, who had instigated the whole expedition. His best friend who had instigated means plotted or planned for this whole expedition means journey. And it involved her dangling over a snake pit. And probably for that moment, that means Rosie or she, had tripped over a snake pit. And while numerous fierce dragons flew at her chanting. Now, after that, lots of dragons were flying by, were chasing her. After that, lots of dragons were chasing her from behind. Now they were chasing and saying, "How could How could you do it to him? Now, how you can make Nicobobinus in danger, or how you can make him fall in danger?" These dragons were telling as if Nicobobinus thought. Suppose it's a well. Now Nicobobinus thought if this is a well, that means a long place or from where previously some water was drawn out. So suppose it's a well or it was a well, a deep unused well with slimy slippery sides that you could never climb and icy water at the bottom. That now he was thinking another thought. Suppose this is a well, unused well, and the steps are very much slippery. As you are going down, there will be icy water, and you can never come upstairs. So you will die in the severe cold. At this point, he discovered it was not a well. Now, at this point, he discovered that this place was not a well. That means it's not a tank like place where water is being kept. He made this discovery very suddenly and very painfully. Now, why? Because as you can see in the picture, when he had made the discovery that this is not a well, actually, he had slipped and fallen down inside that slimy place or graveyard smelling place completely. Now Nicobobinus was saying, "Off," said Nicobobinus. That means he was injured and expressing his outburst of pain, and he lay there in the pitch blackness with not a single breath left in his body for what seemed like for the whole winter, but was probably only a few seconds. And after that, he got a fatal flow and got injured. And in that pitch black darkness, he thought that he was completely restless or lost his breath because it's a severe cold also at that place. Now he came to himself, in fact, just as a stone hit him on the head. Now he thought that probably he got hurt with a stone on his head. "Oh," said Nicobobinus again, and then realized he could hear footsteps high above him. Now, as he was injured on his head with a stone, now he can hear footsteps coming from upstairs. Probably someone is coming down with some heavy steps. Now this was more scary for him. Now after that, stop, sir, he called out, but the footsteps kept on coming down. Now Nicobobinus was shouting, stop here, or you will also be falling, but the footsteps were coming down and down consequently. Now, what's happening after that? Let's learn. Aha, I have got you now, cried the man. So, who was that? That was that particular man who was chasing Nicobobinus from that garden, and I shall beat every bone in your body until it is black. And that means the man was saying that he will now take revenge and will break away all the bones in Nicobobinus's body, and he will keep on beating him until unless he is getting completely pale. That means until unless Nicobobinus is getting completely pale and totally frazzled out, he would continue beating him. That means the man would continue beating him. After that, Nicobobinus supposed the man was going to say blue. Now, here the uncompleted or incompleted word, suppose Nicobobinus thought he will completely beat him. That means the man will completely beat him severely and make him turn blue. Turned him blue means several marks of scars or afflictions would be visible on Nicobobinus's body. But in fact, the next word he uttered sounded more like bravo. That means what is happening here? Actually, the man, while he was saying, he was not paying attention to the stairs, and being the stairs were very much slippery, he also had fallen down. This is some incoherent word. You can read as you want. Now, after that, it was not a word with which Nicobobinus was at all familiar, but he understood its meaning perfectly and moved smartly out of the way. Now, at this point, Nicobobinus understood that this was not any particular word and the man is falling down the stairs. So, consequently, Nicobobinus moved his way because the man will directly come down and will fall down at this place. So, if Nicobobinus is standing here, he will be also injured by the fatal flow of the man. So, Nicobobinus shifted his way to another side. Now, after that, crash. Now the man has fallen down. After that, are you all right? He asked. Nicobobinus asked the man, is he okay? There was silence. The man made no sound. Now, Nicobobinus felt his way back in the pitch dark until his hand touched the man's leather jerkin. Jerkin means it's a kind of dress. So Nicobobinus was trying to feel or sense the man where he was until the man's leather jerkin was touched by Nicobobinus. The man was lying still as death, but he was breathing. Now the man completely lost his breath, and as he had fallen down very critically, he was not dead at all but lying there completely a dead body. Now, I must get help, said Nicobobinus to himself, and he began groping around in the blackness to find another way out. Now, Nicobobinus was not very rude child. Actually, he was very helpful. He said that he must find out an way so that they both come out of that hidden place. When he found it, however, his heart sank. That means when he discovered the way out, he was quite satisfied. The only exit appeared to be a narrow gap down by the floor, no more than a foot high. Now there was a passage that was discovered by Nicobobinus, and this passage was not a foot high, or was not more than a foot high. Now, after that, I can squirm through that in the pitch dark, he said to himself. Squirm means here he would be crawling and moving very fast and would try to get out of that place from that place that he had discovered. But at that very moment, he heard Rosie's cheerful voice saying, you can do it. Now, when he was saying that he can get away of this place, he actually heard his best friend Rosie's voice. What Rosie said? Rosie said that certainly Nicobobinus can just squirm away from that place. Nicobobinus span round, and there, to his immense surprise, was nothing. But Nicobobinus was looking around, but he couldn't see anyone there, and he was quite surprised. No Rosie, no anybody, and there was no one. But I did not know if it leads anywhere, he said to the voice in his head. Now, as if he was dreaming, Nicobobinus thought that as if he was dreaming, Rosie said this to him, and with completely filled with self-confidence, Nicobobinus experienced that his best friend is supporting him and is saying that he can make this impossible happen. And it's such a tight squeeze, I might get stuck. And then he is saying, while he was trying to get away from that place by squirming away from that little place, or the place is discovered by him, he is saying that he might get stuck also. He didn't hear Rosie's voice again, but he knew what it would have said, and that was how he found himself wriggling down a narrow passage of stone in the pitch black. So, here at this point, he did not hear Rosie's voice again, but he was trying to get away from the place by wriggling away or wriggling down. Do you know the meaning of this word wriggling? See, actually, wriggling means crawling from some place, or we can say that when a person is trying to get away a place by moving with twisting motions, or we can say moving restlessly or uncomfortably, which is often used to provide discomfort. Suppose you are crawling away from any place by twisting or turning movements of your body, so this is called the wriggling. As you have seen that snakes wriggle from the hole, so in that way he was trying to get away from that pitch black place, or that narrow passage. He squirmed and he wriggled there in the black for a long, long time, and the tunnel got narrower until he could hardly inch along it. Now, here, as he was just trying to get away from this narrow passage, he had to squirm and wriggle. Just some time ago, I told you the meaning of that word squirm. Squirming means, actually, we can say that he was crawling and trying to get away from that place. So he was trying to get away from that place through this narrow passage, and hardly there was an inch gap left. That means there was no gap left beside him, and he was getting stuck and continuously. I am going back, he said to himself, but he didn't. He just kept wriggling and squirming until suddenly he found he could stand up. Now he said that he couldn't move forward. Now he was saying that he must go backward or get away from this tunnel. But instead of going back, he started moving forward, and until unless he discovered the place to stand up, he started moving forward. After that, what is happening? He took a place forward and immediately fell over stone steps leading up, and after coming out of this place he had fallen down on the stone steps. After that, oh, he said, although what he really meant was thank goodness. That means after all he was successfully coming out of this trap, or this hidden pitch black dark graveyard like place. So he thanked God at this place. After coming out, he began to climb, and he was still climbing some minutes later. That means he got the stairs to go upstairs, and finally he was going up and up. And after some minutes, what happened? It must be a tower, he thought, or the grandest house in Venice. Now, after going upstairs, he had reached at a place, and he thought that it might be the grandest house or the highest house in Venice, or this is a tower. But at that very moment, he saw a crack of light. That means at this point, he found a ray of light coming towards him. He stretched out his hand and found himself touching a catch that clicked softly in the dark. Now, after that, he has touched something and it felt very dark in that place, and he found it very soft also. A panel soundly slid open, and Nicobobina stepped through into the most amazing room he had never seen. And after that, he had opened the door of that lock of that place. After that, he opened the door and had entered in an exciting room he had never seen. That means he had entered into that exciting land that he desired for. So here the story ends. It's just like a short story. That means here we need to assume what might happen. That means what he had discovered after that. So it's as this is a short story, the reader has to make the conclusion of themselves. So what was discovered by Nicobobinus? You think? You just do comment and let us know what is your comprehension about this total passage. So finally, we have understood the story very well, dear students. If you want the question answer as well, then do comment. Will provide you the extra question answer, that means additional question answer along with the solved exercise very soon. And if you want the content in Hindi as well, do comment. Will definitely provide you this. Yes, students, if you find this content really helpful for you, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this content, because your like will cost nothing, but will it will provide us lots of motivation to provide you this type of interactive contents. Thanks for watching, dear students. We'll meet soon in the next video. Have a nice time ahead. Goodbye, everyone.